Yikes. Okay, I apologize. I was just sitting here doing some work on the poetry showcase, completely lost track of time, answering emails and whatnot. And suddenly I look down and I'm an hour late. Yikes. So, yeah, you know how you know I'm in a hurry? I don't have my hat on. Don't have my hat on, don't have my jacket on. This is what I normally look like. I mean, a lot of times I do have my hat on, but now for some reason I think my hair is getting so much longer. I have been skipping the hat because it's getting hot under there. So still love my hat though. Still love it. Today, talking about Writers Police Academy that I just came back from in Appleton, Wisconsin, and how awesome it was. If you look in the photo that I have posted with this, the thumbnail photo, that guy is Brian Asman, which, excuse my language for those of you who get offended, but he just wrote a book called Fuck This House. I'm sorry, Man, Fuck This House, which has actually been on my list to read. So we're standing there at watching things get dismantled by the jaws of life. And he goes, Angela Rigo Smith. And I was like, Brian Asman, and anyways, and I was like, oh my God, that's the guy that wrote the book it's on my list to read. So I'm super excited. That's going to be in my book mail soon. If you go to his website, which is probably brianasman.com, I didn't think to look it up, but if you go to his website, you can get a signed copy. I'm actually going over here to look up what that website is while I stall for time. I mean, brianasman.com. It is brianasmanbooks.com. So there you go. Brian, ASMAN books.com. You can get a signed copy of this, and I'll try to remember to put it in the description where the rest of the links are. But let's go on to Writers Police Academy. And how did I wind up here at this really crazy, awesome place? Okay, well, first off, back at StokerCon, which was just a couple weeks ago, there was a raffle. And I don't know how the raffle came about, but I made a big deal about how going on this camp, I almost said retreat, would be really awesome. And the people, everybody who won couldn't actually take up and go on this, which I get. I totally get. That was tough because we all just paid a ton of money to go to StokerCon, and now you have to and take time off from work and stuff, and now you have to uproot for another weekend. But I'm lucky enough that I was able to do that thanks to the help from a really dear friend, Laura, and also, yeah, just because this is my job full time. Yes, I'm pretty happy with that. And anyway, so I wound up getting to zip on over to Appleton, Wisconsin. The first thing I will say is I had so many of my preconceived notions and biases blown out of the water. And the first one of those was Appleton, Wisconsin. I admit, as I was flying over from Kansas City, which is a large town for those of you who don't realize it, I was kind of being like, oh, Appleton, Wisconsin. I'm going to go to Appleton. It is a kick-ass town. It is a hoppin' party place that never stopped. Appleton, Wisconsin is a better party than Denver, Colorado. I'll say that. And I'll say it's probably better than Kansas City. Those people in Appleton, Wisconsin know where it's at as far as party time. And I'm sorry, now I'm self-conscious because I don't have my jacket on, so I'm going to put this on real quick. I think it makes me look a little fancier and polished. So anyways, Appleton, Wisconsin was my first kind of surprise bias gone. So we got there the first night. What did I do? I'm going to look in the schedule so I can remember all the stuff that happened. It was pretty awesome. I will say the first morning, I got there a day early, got up for that first breakfast. I am not a fan of those kinds of breakfasts, that kind of like bacon and, well, I do love bacon, but you kind of like the reconstituted eggs and stuff like that, but it was not a bad thing. I missed the first breakfast, so I went down later when we registered, got to hug a police dog, got to go in a fire truck, look in an ambulance, stuff like that, see a SWAT van. Then it was the first event. I'm not going to say a lot about the first talk. The first talk was about Jeffrey Dahmer, and I disagreed with a lot of the things that were said in that. So I'm just going to skip right over that. That would be Friday. Friday was pretty awesome. I was actually, I will admit, a little bit angry, but Friday made up for it. Friday, Saturday, the whole thing was pretty awesome. So first thing we do, we go down for the breakfast buffet, get on yellow school buses to go to the first scenario, which was amazing. It was, they had a helicopter come in, I kid you not, helicopter come in, a simulated crash where there was 2 cars crushed. They showed us how they took the cars apart with the jaws of life to get the people out. Fire trucks everywhere. It was pretty exciting. And all of that just for little old us to come see how it would work without being rubberneckers, in an actual scene. And then what did I do? I know there was body cams involved, which was really interesting. Body cams was probably one of my favorite kind of mind blown events, because I am one of those people that I see the body cams on the news and I'm like, how could you not see that? It's right there on the camera. How could you not hear that? I can hear that from the recorded footage. But what you don't understand, or what I didn't understand, and you may understand it, is the camera can see everything. It is not emotional. It doesn't have any kind of fear going on. But people are a little bit different. We look at something like the end of a gun, and I have seen the end of a gun pointed at me. And I guarantee my memory of the end of that gun is that barrel. That's all I remember seeing. It's just kind of this looking at me. And so that's what happens in the footage there in the body cam sometimes, which I'd never thought of. Maybe, somebody's shooting at somebody's pulling something out of their pocket, policeman or whatever starts shooting, somebody off on the side says that's a comb or whatever, or a lighter, and it's too late. The bullets are being fired, the brain is already under threat, there's a lot of adrenaline going on. And the thing that I liked, you might think, or I thought it might be biased towards like, policemen are always right, they do no wrong. That is not what this writer's workshop was about. This was a really open-ended discussion. They invited us to ask questions about things that are happening in the media right now and their perspective on it. It was a really open, wonderful forum. In fact, that body camera class started out with showing us what appeared to be a man resisting arrest. And they're showing it from the body cam footage. And I mean, it exactly looked like some guy resisting arrest. And the way they were talking and everything, it was somebody resisting arrest. So this class was actually taught by Mike Netzer. That was the body cam teacher. So Mike started us out with seeing this footage. It looked like, somebody's resisting arrest. The police are using justified force to, subdue this guy. And then he showed us the footage that happened to be on a bank. And that the guy had come up with his hands up, laid down on the concrete, absolutely like ready to surrender. And then they came up and kicked the crap out of him. So yeah, completely open. That was wrong. Those guys, got in trouble for that. I think he said 3 of them are in prison right now. And, so that was an eye opener that, yeah, none of us want that kind of, nobody wants that. Maybe there's a few people that want that, but like, according to Mike Netzer and the people that we just talked to over the weekend, nobody really wants that. So there was that. Another cool thing, this is where I ran into Brian Asman, was dismantling a car with the jaws of life and other tools of destruction. That was awesome. That was so much fun. We actually got to use the jaws of life, which weigh an absolute ton. I'm actually pulling photos up now because I was like, I should just show you. And I need to put these photos on my Facebook. But those things weigh a ton. There's a photo that I'm about to show you, and I'm holding up the jaws of life, and Brian Asman is at my back, and these things, I'm bracing them on my leg, and I can barely hold them up because they weigh so much. But when you see these policemen, I mean, the firemen, they are just whipping these things out like nobody's business. I'm going to share my screen real quick. And I'm already at 10 minutes. I don't want to take too long. Here we go. So this is, whoops, let me minimize all my stuff. This is Brian Asman and I. Those are the jaws of life. I can't remember what he's got, just random hammers and stuff. Here's we had a lot of those. This is the fireman. And we actually took that car apart. I learned where all the airbags were. You know, an airbag will actually explode and kill you if you hit it. It's like a shrapnel bomb kind of thing. I thought that was pretty interesting. So this is them tearing the car apart and showing us how to do it. Sorry if I'm going a little bit fast. See how he's holding onto those things? Those are really heavy. That was another tool, like just hydraulic, and it just kind of pried the cars apart. There are so many interesting ways that you could kill somebody with these things. And there's me with my scrawny little arms cutting this vehicle apart. Very exciting. Yeah, so that was also one of my favorite classes. What else? Oh, and then of course the canines. I got to meet canines twice. They were so adorable. Here's the canines here. Put this back up. Look at these guys. They're so vicious and adorable. This was the canines. I believe this was the shepherd. And they showed us how to do a drug bust, like how the dogs sniff out. These guys were so sharp. It took them, like, they just kind of walked by and were like, oh, it's there, right there, pointing, boop. And they were adorable. And they used a Malinois, Belgian Malinois, and a shepherd, a German shepherd. And interesting thing, this is the Belgian Malinois. That's actually what we have, is the Belgian Malinois. And they said all the dogs they use wind up being the pointy ear dog. So we all knew. I'm sorry, I have bias towards pointy ear dogs. But they said all of the dogs that they use are the pointy eared types. And hello, for those of you that just joined, the pointy ear types, but the drives are different. So a Belgian Malinois is 90% prey driven, like chasing stuff down, and a shepherd is like 80% protect driven, which they said makes a big difference when you are picking dogs for police work. And the reason why he has that little black sleeve is because he had a deep cut that's healing up. Because these are working dogs. This poor little guy here, I can't remember his name, but he had teeth missing because he's a working dog. And what he has right there that he's playing with is a piece of fire hose. That's what they give him to play with. And that is such a good idea. And I just happen to have a fire station near me, so I'm going to go ask them for some fire hose. What's going on there? The guy threw his keys in a field. Dog ran out and got him. That was the shepherd. Oh, and then this. Got to see a policeman almost get eaten. Whoops, by a dog. That was exciting. Brian and I both asked if we could also be bitten, because it's just going to be a small puncture wound. Even if it gets through that thing, we can still get back on the airport. And they said no. But yeah, this is the dog actually rips the arm off and runs away with it. That was so awesome. So here he is running off with his prize. So cute. And there's me, of course, loving on the police dogs. I could have probably spent the entire weekend doing this. Such a goofy photo of me right there. Ah, show me your police dogs. I love you. And there's the guy and the police dog. That's the Belgian Malinois. Okay, now I'm just getting like an old lady showing off pictures of dogs. I'm sorry. So what else happened? Oh, got a really, really good. Got to do I can't remember what it's called, like a virtual shootout, which was cool. I got to go into a building with an active shooter and see how I would do. I killed my first guy. Forgot the second guy was in the building on the left. I actually talked all about that today on the radio show, the NBC radio show thing. So if you want to hear like the details of me and my shootout, you can listen to that when it's posted. The link to that is in the description. I'm going to get the link tomorrow to when the actual show is going to be posted and where. But it was pretty interesting. I'll say I confused my left and my right in the panic. It was just like there was so much. And I was not actually being shot at, and I knew that. But it was a really eye-opening experience. And then the last day, we got to talk with Dr. Catherine Ramsland, who interviewed the BTK killer, which means bind, torture, kill. And she showed us a lot of stuff we couldn't share because it's private. Talked to us about the BTK killer. Did not know he was actually in Kansas City as a Lutheran pastor when he was doing this bind, torture, killing stuff. So this is why I kind of say you've got to really be careful and use your own judgment and don't just accept people at face value, So, and there's Brian. He was also a police dog lover. So that's how I know he's a good guy. Obviously, he likes dogs. Look at those guys. They're so cute. Okay. Oh, and this was Dr. Catherine Ramsland. And then one of the cool things was this right here. Sarah Reed, which is there. Why is this not zooming? Anyway, Sarah Reed got to join. Come see us at this. That's really weird that it won't scroll for me now. Huh. Anyway, Sarah Reed is right here. She got to join in. This is Emmett. We actually just met these people. Colleen, Brian. We were the loudest, rowdiest table. We scared our waiter. That was hilarious. Probably shouldn't say how, but it involved the title of Brian's book and us all yelling that about the table. But yeah, it was super fun. I feel like I'm just droning on now. This is how to talk to a serial killer. But yeah, I will say, getting back on topic, because I'm sitting here looking at the schedule of all the different things we did, kind of getting flooded with memories. I was super tired when I came back, though, because it's just a lot of trips I've been taking lately. But this is definitely worth it. There was the body cams, canine operations, tribal policing was an interesting one. Vehicle contacts, emergency vehicle operations. I didn't do this, but I know people got to drive around in the police cars and stuff. Oh, learned how to clear a room police style and how to do a police stack and the whole thing, which was also interesting. Vehicle extrication, which is what I did with cutting apart the car. Use of force virtual reality simulator. That's what I did, where I got to take down an active shooter. But yeah, it was super interesting. I didn't sign up for weapons because my dad was a gunsmith. I did that a lot already, so I didn't really feel the need to go shoot a gun. But yeah, so this event, Writers Police Academy, they have every year, and I think it's in Wisconsin every year. But I would definitely recommend. I think I'm going to try to go next year as well. This year I lucked out because I was a guest, but I would go to this. I would pay for this and go to this again. This was really interesting. Learned a ton of stuff, and you get a certificate. My certificate is behind me somewhere. I think right there, somewhere in that mess. My whole office is exploded right now. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Writers Police Academy, definitely worth it. If you think about going, hook up with me, send me a message, and we will coordinate to do this next year, because It was definitely worth it. It was worth it for the fun of it. And it was worth it for the knowledge that I took away from it. And also the knowledge about myself. You know, how would I react in this situation? Learned a lot about all kinds of stuff. And it was good. So that is it. That's Writers Police Academy. Pretty fun. If you ask me what was the very favorite thing, I would say the people I met there and the canine units. But I'm a little biased about canine units, and that will probably never change. So I will see you tomorrow. I don't remember what I'm doing tomorrow, but it will be pre-posted, and I'm probably going to try to get organized again now that everything's kind of settling down, and get these things. Oh, hey, Tati. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. We can do that. Let me go back to this fireman here. We have a request to zoom in on the fireman with the nice arms. I will say, Tati, I was wondering if these firemen were also like dancers, maybe like exotic dancers, because some of them are pretty crazy. Now, when you say the fireman with the nice arms, are you talking about this guy? Because this is actually Brian Asman. He's a writer. And then we had, I'm definitely going to help you do some manifesting. We had this guy, both of these guys here. And then the fireman in question that the private discussion was, is he an exotic dancer? As all the way up here, this guy. Let's see if I can find some better photos of him. Sure, I have more photos of him. Don't look at the goofy people in the car. Oh, maybe not. This guy is a wrestler and professional Santa Claus. I thought that was cool. Well, yeah, hopefully I gave you your fireman as upon request. I guess you don't really see his arms there. Was it that guy? Or the other guy? Couple of firemen to choose from. But yeah, this is the whole weekend. The whole crazy weekend. Me flying, my lunch, because you have to take a picture of your lunch. Oh, yeah, the robots. That was cool. Robot bombs. Oh, the Jaws of Life guy. Yep. Let me zoom back over here. We have a special request today for the Jaws of Life man. And talk about this guy. I'm thinking this is the Jaws of Life man. Oh, this right here, that's how you break a window. That's got like a little spring thing, and you hit the window and the certain thing, and then it shatters the window for you. But yeah, this guy, this is the policeman requested. So I'll just leave him up as the background while I finish talking. I might have some better pictures of him too. And there he is. Watching them dismantle this car was pretty impressive, I gotta say. Very inspiring. Makes me really want to destroy things, which, you know, I kind of do anyway. So, but yeah, I will send you that photo if you want, Tati. You can derail chat. I will send you all my fireman photos if you want. This can happen. So, but I should probably close. I'm glad to see you. I have my personal message to Tati Cake, who's in the chat. I do have my Twitch, not Twitch, my Animal Crossing working. So I need to actually get on that when I get a little bit less busy. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys learned a lot. Oh, look at that. That's where he's like, actually, that thing is called the spreader. And he's actually spreading apart the car. And that's all the comments I will say about that. But yeah, and there he's like just gonna rip this door off. See, he's like got in there and just yeah. I will let you make the comments about the spreader, and I won't say anything, but I thought you might appreciate this. There he's just kind of prying apart the door crack there, and forcing his way in, taking that door right off the hinges. And this is Brian over here chopping stuff with the jaws of life. Which, is it wrong that I keep calling them the jaws of death? But I mean, that's what would happen if you started using it. And that's just me looking goofy again. So we'll go back over here. Yes, these photos can be shared with you, Tatey. But yeah, I will say goodbye at this point because I try to keep these a little bit shorter and I'm already at 25 minutes. But I've lost my book. Oh, there it is. I highly recommend the Writers Police Academy. You should come with me next year, Tatey, because there's plenty of firemen I was going to say to be had, but I mean to visit with, and policemen. But it was a really fun, educational, inspiring weekend. I will not repeat what's going on in chat at this moment. But I will get over onto Twitch and message you here in a few and share some photos with you. But that is it from me right now. I will see you guys tomorrow, hopefully at 8. That's the goal. Unless I'm sitting here collating the poetry showcase judging entries and like getting super distracted and forgetting what day and time this is. But yeah, and I do have a plan for tomorrow. I just don't remember what it is yet. It is, I don't know. I'm not even on that day. I'm in January on my calendar for some reason. So tomorrow is, oh yeah, I'll be reviewing the Horror Writer Association newsletter because I usually do that on the 1st. I couldn't do that because I was at Writer Police Academy. So I will be doing that tomorrow. And I will see you then. Bye. And thank you, Tatey, for coming by with all your comments. Appreciated. And yeah, I'll just say appreciated. And I will go message you and share photos. But that's it. I will see you tomorrow, probably in my hat, because hopefully I will not be doing this at the last minute again. All right. Bye-bye.